Hey everybody, welcome back to the Purpose Dept Podcast. So glad to have you with us today. And we have a very special guest on today. But first of all, Dad, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, son?
Doing great.
No, man, it's we've got some more sunshine back in California again.
I know. I
Weather
don't know how
is,
I feel about that.
huh?
I like the rain.
Yeah. So, dude, you look good today, and excited to have our episode. Glad that you guys are joining us once again. Want to encourage you guys, make sure you give us a subscribe, like, comment. Feel free to let us know some of your thoughts, or maybe you've been watching and you've been joining us for a little while, and you're like, oh man, I have something I'd love to share. I'd love to be a part of this. Come let us know as well. We've got our full setup and excited that we can even do some of these virtually now. But we've had so many cool people that I love having in person that we haven't gone that route yet. But we've got some guests in the works that we'll be definitely doing this for sure. One of them being our buddy who's doing a clothing line, which is cool.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
Shout out to you, Greg. So, yeah, good old Greco. But today, as you guys know, with us at the Purpose Department, we are involved in the community. I've got our creative business called Creators Department, and so we get involved in the community. We meet other businesses, other entrepreneurs, leaders, different things like that. And I came across this amazing person a few months ago when we first started this out. She was actually one of the first people that got connected through one of our mixer events.
Oh, yeah.
And her name is Holly McDonald. So, Holly, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
So good. Glad to have you on the set today and coming to join Jaden and I.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had you on my podcast a while back, and that was so much fun.
Yes.
So it's fun to be on the other side.
Yeah, it's so good. I know we were just talking about it. I was like, you're always asking the questions. Now today I get to put you on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
But a whole lot of life has happened since we even had that one.
Yeah.
And so, but Holly, you are here in Costa Mesa, Orange County area, doing real estate. And what else do you got going on?
Yeah, well, so I am a residential realtor,
Okay.
and I've been working in this area for about 15 years now. And then also I host a podcast that is all about Costa Mesa. And I'm also currently hosting a TV show. It's a lifestyle show that also kind of involves the whole community and highlights like the local businesses and activities. And I've just like shining a spotlight on everything that we have going on here because I love the area so much and I just want to share that with others.
Yeah. And now, didn't you guys just have an episode that came out too where you're highlighting like the South Coast Plaza area?
Yes. Oh, wow. You're on top of it. So,
I am.
Yes. Yeah. So that episode featured South Coast Metro. And I mean, it's funny because when I first moved here to Costa Mesa, I was coming from LA and people kept telling me, oh, that's the place with the mall. And so that was all I really knew about Costa Mesa and South Coast Metro was South Coast Plaza.
Yeah.
But now being here, I realize it's so much more. There's such an art scene. It's really sophisticated. It's really a little bit like San Francisco or New York City when you're there. You can really walk around and feel like you're, by all the high rises and everything. Mm-hmm. It just has a vibe. So it was really fun to cover that because it's so different from other parts of town.
Yeah, it really, really is.
Oh,
that's where you are.
Yeah, I know. And I've grown to love it. I mean, my wife works close by here too. And now that I have my offices here, it's been like, oh, wow, I've really seen a whole lot more to it.
It's so cool. And there's so much more coming too. They're going to be doing a ton of development.
Okay.
So that's exciting for the whole area in general.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh, lots
so we're
of
just adding more stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Orange County
That's
is
cool.
booming. So Orange County, where are the orange groves? No, they don't exist anymore. But
they're all in my supermarket like Trader Joe's where I can get all the oranges. So that's about it.
For upmark prices.
Yeah.
All right. Before we start, I have a hypothetical question. Those of you that watched before and those of you who haven't watched before, I always do a hypothetical
Welcome to
question.
your madness.
Yeah, this is what goes on inside of my head. It's how I wake myself up every single morning and just ponder the what ifs. So,
gosh.
So here's the hypothetical for you. You're a realtor, right? You do all the housing stuff. If you could buy like a sector, I don't really know what the terminology is, but if you could get like a sector of houses or you could get property somewhere in the world, anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Oh boy. Well, I think I would probably say Southern California.
Okay.
Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I am not from here.
Yeah.
I'm from the East Coast. And I just can't imagine another place where there's so much opportunity, such great weather, so much growth and potential. It's beautiful. So I've thought about this really hard because like there are days here when it's 50 degrees and raining, which I know you like, but I personally don't. I feel like I did my time on the East Coast and I came here for the sunshine. And so we only get a few of those bad days a year, but there doesn't seem to be really any other options except for maybe Hawaii. And I mean, I could do Hawaii, but it's just a little bit far. I feel like I might be a little bit too removed at that place. So,
do you think you'd probably find yourself? Because I'm from Hawaii, so do you think you'd find yourself getting a little island fever, is what they would call it, being trapped?
I think since I've lived on the mainland, probably, but I think if I grew up there, I don't know that I'd ever want to leave. I mean, how was it for you leaving?
I've been trying to get back ever since. So,
which island are you from?
Oahu.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Oahu.
Yeah, so Oahu's great. I've gotten to take our whole family there, and then Jane and I have gotten to go to the Big Island. He's been there a couple times.
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Well, see, Oahu, I love. Personally, I think it's like the best mixture of everything because you've got the city, you've got the beaches, you've got the hiking, like it's remote, it's dense. Yeah. What more could you ask for? Okay, so maybe that would be the sector.
There you go. That's cool. Yeah, no, that's my hypothetical. Yeah, no, but Hawaii. You know, the housing market out there is crazy. From what I've like looked at, I'm like, it's expensive, and there's also just a bunch of laws, and it's like you can't do this, but you can do this. You can't do this, but you can't do this. Yeah. But it's all part of that that culture, that just naturalness, and just the Hawaiianness of it, the kind of the tribalness of it, I guess. So I don't know, it's cool. I like that answer. Hawaii is a good spot to choose.
Do you think you'll end up there one day? Is that your plan?
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe you could start a podcast studio there.
That would be fun. Yeah. It would definitely be fun. Yeah. But first, before I would go to Hawaii, I want to go into Europe and start a podcast station there and get European clients. But
okay. I would say, like, I don't know anything about the economical market really of Barcelona, but that area is so beautiful. And that has a really good climate too. Yeah. And it's a different type of beautiful. Like it's got the old historic buildings and everything, which are just amazing. I mean, like, of course, really anywhere in Europe, you're right. It's pretty freaking amazing. But I also know that I don't know as much about real estate there. Yeah. I did do a little bit of TV production in Europe on a show called House Hunters International back in the day. And so my recollection of it was a lot of the purchases were cash and it was just different. Yeah. So I don't know that from a real estate perspective, I could do what I do there as well. Yeah, I'd have to learn a whole new thing. So I'd have to have been probably born there and like grown into that field to really thrive with it. Yeah. Boy, there's like, that was a really good question. Yeah.
Man, Barcelona. I have a lot of friends that are Barcelona soccer fans. I feel so bad for you because they lost yesterday, but shout out.
Rub it in one more time. Right?
I have to. But Barcelona, from what I've seen, it looks like a beautiful place, and it just has so much culture and so much history. And plus, their soccer team is pretty decent, apart from losing. But yeah.
We went there on our honeymoon, so it was part of the honeymoon experience, and it was
That's cool.
The best way to end it, I think.
That's cool. Yeah, I haven't met anybody from Barcelona. I have some friends who are from Portugal.
Cool.
So that's really cool, and heard all about that. So Holly, I mean, one of the things that I appreciate about you is how you value people.
Thanks.
You know, and so I know you do that with not your clients per se, but the people that you're helping find with their own real estate journey. And here in California, that's definitely a journey, and it's a process. And I know that you have to go through a lot of different circumstances and navigate situations, to help people that way. But one of the things that you also do is, you're spotlighting other people, other leaders, other businesses and entrepreneurs. And so I wanted to know what sparked that passion for you.
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. I really like hearing people's stories. Yeah. I think that everybody has, a story behind what they're doing. And a lot of times that gets lost in whether it's like the website message or what people see when they walk into a shop. Sometimes you can feel it, but sometimes you can't. And the owners are not always there to kind of push that out. For me, it's really great to know like the heart and soul behind the businesses that are here.
Yeah.
And I think that does help to make the community ultimately where you want to call home.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I mentioned before that I'm not from here, and I don't want to harp on it, but when you're not from here either. So when you move to a new place and you're just trying to like get your bearings and feel a connection and why you might want to stay there, what the people are like, what, the whole mentality is like, it does help to have like a point of reference.
Yeah.
So, hearing from the different people about why are they here? Why are they serving the community? Why do they think the community needs or wants them?
Mm-hmm.
I just think that that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really feel like we need more people like that. Like people that kind of appreciate the stories that everybody has. Because I like what you said, that everybody has a story and everybody wants to share their story. Sometimes they just need an outlet to share it. So I think that what you do is actually really, really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I like for people to be able to have a voice. And also, we work so hard.
That's true.
We're on, especially...
Facts.
Well, everywhere people work hard, but we live in a very expensive place where people literally have to work their butts off to stay here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people refer to California as the land of dreams, right? So you're coming here and you're trying to make a living, make a difference, have purpose.
Yeah.
So to be able to actually share that is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's so cool. I, Holly, with what you're doing, especially in the space and with technology and even social media.
Oh my gosh.
Because there's a lot that happens, and there's a lot, especially in your field, like you've got to accomplish, or you're feeling that pressure of, well, how do I not only, meet the status quo, but like, how do I continue to be me?
Yeah.
While creating content, while spotlighting other people, while showing homes, getting to meet all those different things. And for me, coming from a marketing stance and stuff, we're always, one of the questions that people are always asking or even wondering about, well, what's your reach? Like, who are you reaching? Who are da-da-da-da-da?
Yeah.
But in reality, I still find that, reach is great, but ultimately, relationship still has to be the very foundational piece.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
So what do you do in your space? Because I would consider you an expert in your area and your field. What do you do to cultivate that so that it's not just about reach, but it's about
like depth?
the relationship and what you actually bring and the value, and all that. Yeah,
that's a great question. And so I think some of it is probably just like part of my nature.
Okay.
Because I do consider myself to actually listen to people. Like I know right now I'm talking a lot, but normally like on my podcast, I'm more of the listener.
Yeah.
And I do try to, in my job, try to listen to what people need and want. And sometimes they're coming to you and they're telling you just the specs of what they need in a house. Like I need this many bedrooms or, the basics. But you have to dig a little bit deeper because usually it's more than just that. You have to find out like what is it that really resonates with them. Do they just need 3 bedrooms, or do they need a yard, or do they absolutely not want a yard? Or for them, is it all about what school are they going to be closest to, or their commute? There's just extra things that really play a role in it. And I know sometimes I've had clients that have said they wanted one thing, and then you dig a little bit deeper and you can kind of coach them that, maybe they might want to consider something else just because I've seen it with other people and it hasn't been a good fit.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I'll have clients that'll say they want to go far away to get more house, but then they realize that they don't really want to go far away because they actually spend every, weekend with their family here and they don't actually want to drive all the time. So kind of paying attention to people's actual wishes is important. Yeah.
So have you with that job, have you learned kind of how to read people to just kind of get a feeling for what they want?
I try to. I mean, everybody is different, but I do think that sometimes it is a little bit psychological, and some people have a really good poker face, you know,
Yeah.
and some people really don't want to like tell you everything. People have a lot of stuff going on in their lives. And when
Yeah.
you're helping people with their home life, there's a lot of personal side
Yeah.
effects, you know, that are going on.
Yeah.
But typically it's almost like going to a doctor or a therapist in some cases, because I'm really finding out how do people think, or what are the things in their life that brought them to the conclusion that they want this, you know? I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example that wouldn't come across poorly, but sometimes people do have little things that are just important to them because of something from their childhood or something that their grandparents had.
Yeah. So you saying that, it actually almost makes me kind of brings to my mind the whole concept of, because you're relational and that's a core value in different things. It's how you see them, you know, like how you, not even just how you see them, but like how they're being seen. As far as in your listening, you have to listen to the what's the undercurrent, what's, you know, and then so, because I would imagine then you're hearing all these things, and like you said, you know, it's almost like a doctor or therapist, which I completely get it. But I guess in what ways, how do you, or how have, maybe what have been some moments where as you were listening and as you were connecting and really relating with people, because this is a big investment, you know, it's not something small. It's not just something that people will do off the whim, but it's, what are some things that you do that kind of reinforces that thing to your clients? Like, I see you, like, I've really been listening, you know, how does that usually play out for you?
Yeah. So I think some of it is just helpfulness and being resourceful. So when people are asking about certain things in an area, and that's kind of what I do through my podcast, is just being able to share with people, you should really go try this place. Like, oh, you really like sushi? Oh, this is the spot you need to try. Have you been there?
Yeah.
Those types of, like, I know it's little, but it's something that you wouldn't necessarily expect to get, like a tip from your doctor on where to go to get a bite to eat. Realtors do typically know like the areas that they're serving, but just again, paying attention. Like, say I have a client that has a dog and they want to know, like, is this a good area for dogs? Like, do I need to be concerned about coyotes? Like, just those little things. And I've had to tell people that before. Like, you over here, you're definitely going to want a tall fence, and maybe even, you know, things, you know?
Yeah. Definitely stuff that was never on our mind until we moved here to Orange County. I was like, oh, there's coyotes. Oh, okay. You know, because we have a dog and different things. So
this also brings up another question, like, because I know there is some things where it's like some realtors are like, they'll just try to sell you the place and they won't really tell you everything. I'm not saying that you do this, but I'm saying, like, I've heard it before.
Sure.
And people are like, you know, this realtor did this and they did this. And I'm like, how does it, like, I don't know, how do I phrase it? Like, do you tell your clients everything? Like, even if it may, like, screw up a deal at some point, or even if they may, like, want to walk away, do you make sure to tell them everything and be, like, completely honest? Because I feel like that's what people want.
That's definitely what I try to do. I mean, obviously, everything that I know, sometimes we don't know everything, you know? Sometimes other people don't tell us stuff. But everything that I do know, like, I would ethically have a guilty conscience, first of all, for not sharing it. Sometimes I do realize that people do get, like, buyer's remorse or seller's remorse. And so I would never slap somebody on the hand or the wrist and say, you know, what are you doing? Like, you can't just rashly make this decision. Typically people will, like, at least sleep on something. But if they know it's a deal breaker, first of all, we already know the writing's on the wall if they're wavering. And I would say 95% of the time, if somebody says that they're probably going to cancel, they do. And they're within their rights to, because, you know, that's how the contracts work. But it is such a big investment. So it's scary, which means that people do have a lot of emotions and they do second guess themselves a lot. So that's why it's important to really listen to them and try to figure out, okay, well, is what you want just, like, not realistic, and do we need to, like, address that? Because maybe you're canceling and you're never going to get what you want. But so now we just have to regroup and figure out what you can get that you want. Like, how do we adjust?
So okay, cool. No, that's good. Yeah. Honesty. So is honesty a big part of
honesty is always the best policy.
Yeah.
It truly is. I mean, I have had clients that have asked me my opinion on a house, and sometimes, I mean, in sales, they will say like, don't ever like say anything that's gonna bite you later.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm pretty honest. Like, if I'll point out stuff that sometimes I'm like, oh, that wouldn't have bothered them, but I still pointed it out,
Yeah. I feel like that's so that shows your character though. Like that's a big step in character, because I've definitely met some people that will not say anything. And then like later, whenever you mention that, they're like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about that.
Well, I will say though, because I, never want to come across like the wrong way, but sometimes we all have like a different level of standards.
Mm-hmm.
So some things that may not bother me are going to bother someone else. And so I can only come at it from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I'll just throw this out there. So asbestos, nobody likes that word.
Yeah.
Are a lot of houses potentially full of asbestos? Yeah, they are, and some people are that's going to be a hill that they die on. Like they will never live in a house that has asbestos. And other people, they're fine with it because for them, and I will say myself included, my house, I am positive, has asbestos in the ducting.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it's disturbed, so I don't think of it as a health concern. But if it were a health concern, I would be running from it too. So it depends on everybody's like level of standards.
Okay. Yeah.
But of course, like I'm not an inspector either. So I would defer to the inspector on that and not say like that's 100% asbestos. But I'll probably say that's 99% asbestos,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of, when you're doing any type of relational transaction, there has to be a development of trust.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
And so, I think for you, just like how it would be for me and partners and clients that we would work with or whatever, it's like from day one, even before day one, before we enter into a deal or before you enter into this process to look for a home, it's like you're already laying out the groundwork for building trust.
Yeah.
Especially as a relational type person.
Yeah.
How does creating trust look like from beginning, middle, and the end for you?
Yeah. So I think a lot of the trust does start with listening to people and their needs.
Yeah.
So seeing them as a person with their own set of values rather than a transaction or a potential dollar sign.
Yeah.
I think that's when it starts to feel icky. And we all know that feeling. Like, when you walk into a store and like they're following you around and you're like, I just want to browse.
Or we just went to a car dealership at the end of the year because we were looking for, and it was like, we're looking, but oh my gosh, bro. Like,
yeah, it makes you want to run the other way. So I don't, I mean, I'm not necessarily the type of agent where you come into the open house and I'm like smelling the cash. It's like, look around. If you have a question, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm here to protect the house and answer your questions, basically.
Yeah.
And help you.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's really cool. I feel like building trust is such a big part of the world that we live in today.
Yeah.
And if we don't build trust, then it kind of just destroys us, and it kind of just destroys relationships that we have. So how do you, what would be the best strategies for you to like build trust and keep that trust in a good way, and like just make sure that the trust that you're building is like healthy, right?
Yeah. So I think building trust is like, it's a two-way street. So first of all, like if people aren't being honest with me, not that I'm going to be dishonest with you, but it is going to be harder to reciprocate necessarily. I'll also be honest with you, but I'm going to be like, you have to be honest with me. Sometimes people have like financial issues going on that they want to withhold from you. And I don't need to know everybody's personal financial part, but the lender does. And so if the lender knows about something that's going to jack up the deal, we all have to be on the same page, because I'm going to bat for you. Like I'm going to bat for you for your family. And also, you know, not that it's an ego thing, but reputation is also on the line, you know, because there's a million agents here, but we do all come across one another.
Yeah.
And when someone starts to ghost you, just like in dating, like, you know, it's a bad sign.
Yeah.
And the same holds true in real estate. When an agent starts ghosting me, I know something's up with their clients, you know, and that's not fun. And then it's also, and this has happened recently, now I'm here trying to protect my seller, but a buyer's agent is ghosting me. I am aware that this is not a good sign. So I have to clue my seller in to some degree so that it's not a total shock when it falls through, but I'm getting the feels that it's going to fall through.
Yeah.
And trying to discover what's really going on. And sometimes we'll never know. Like, we're not detectives, we try. But we'll never really know. Like, there are a lot of people involved, which, you know, adds layers of protection, I suppose. But again, building that trust with my seller is keeping them informed of as much as I possibly know, and then, you know, enforcing strategies to move forward. Like, now, what do we do now? What do we do to make sure that you're in the best position to move forward and you're not held up by people that are, you know, just not able to move forward?
So just helping people is like a big part of the whole thing.
So I took my Enneagram test last week.
Oh,
Never done it before. And I'm a 2, which is apparently helper. So I guess
welcome to the club.
Are you a 2 too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then I felt like those wings, I'm like a 1 and a 3 equally, I feel like.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how to determine what my actual wing is, but I definitely, in some regards, I try to be a perfectionist.
Yeah.
In other regards, I'm like a go-getter. So it's 1 and 3.
Yeah. It just depends. Like, it all depends on what's, like, how healthy you are, you know, like how are you doing?
Oh,
you know,
okay. That makes sense.
Because that's what those, so some of those wings and those different things, like if you're not doing well or you're stressed or then you find yourself leaning towards those other things. So like a challenger, like there's a good challenger, you know, like I do that as a communicator. Like there's a challenging tone that can come out when I talk.
Sure.
But there's also a challenger that's like the buck, you know, you're hitting a wall every time you try to have a conversation with this person. It's like, oh my goodness, I don't want to even go anywhere with you because of that. You know,
I could see how you're a 2. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think, I mean, for each type, like there's different strengths. And so I'm sure there's realtors that are all of the different types. But I think for what I do and like how, you know, I run my business is, you know, with helping my clients and then also like helping the community in, you know, as much as I can, just sharing information.
Yeah.
Because I wish somebody would have shared information with me when I moved here and not just told me Costa Mesa was South Coast Plaza. I had no idea.
You know, so that was funny because when we first moved here, I mean, we live in Irvine, but my job when we first moved here was in Costa Mesa, actually by the fairgrounds.
Okay.
Right by Vanguard University.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, that's Costa Mesa. You know, and then I come to find out, wait, what's this place called South Coast? Wait, what? There's this bougie mall. Like, wait, what's going on? Oh, wait, what's Santa Ana? I don't even like. And it's like, oh yeah, Sunflower. And then it was like, oh, this is so weird how the lines are drawn with the 55 and the 405 and then Sunflower and then you get Red Hill and I'm like, this is it's just weird.
It is the Wild West over there.
Yeah. And then you got Costa Mesa and then it stretches all the way out and you're like, oh wait, now I just crossed into Newport. What's happening? Like it's such a blur, to be honest.
Yeah. I didn't know 17th Street, which is like where I go all the time now.
Yes.
I didn't know that was even, I never went down there. Like for like the first 3 years, I would go down Newport Boulevard to go to the beach.
Yeah.
But never ventured off. I had no idea what 17th Street was.
Oh yeah. 17th Street is great. Our favorite one of our favorite restaurants is right there off of 17th.
Which one?
Ipono Cafe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. With Chef Ipono, Eugene.
He has the best
Hawaiian street food.
What? I have not heard of this place
Okay,
or
you
been
need to
there,
go.
so that is on
you
my
need
podcast
to go. So
soon?
17th, right there where the Staples and right there in that little plaza across from Nothing But Cakes and Sidecar Donuts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So a little Hawaiian joint.
The best
Great
food you'll
that's
ever eat.
Heck, I mean, we can all go out there. I'll volunteer as tribute to make sure you don't eat there alone. I
want to go.
No, that's like a trip to Hawaii without the plane ride. I love it.
It's amazing. And it's not like he specializes, he creates some amazing recipes, but it's not your Americanized like L&L or, different things like that. It's the real deal. And so he'll have tea leaves and different things like flown from Hawaii.
Oh, and banana leaves.
Yeah,
too.
so he can make food and
Yeah.
so good.
Wow. Okay. It's definitely featuring them soon.
Yeah, you need to, and tell them that Pete sent you.
I will.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're actually trying to get this. I'm calling you out, Chef. We asked you to come on, and so we're going to get him on the podcast. It's going to be so cool. But yeah, it's great.
Pressure him.
No, he's a good guy.
No, he is very cool.
Yeah,
very, very cool.
He's from Hawaii too.
Okay. Yeah. So, but it's cool. Another guy who hustles. Works real hard and is finally starting to see some fruit to their labor type stuff, because that's the thing you had mentioned earlier. People who are here in California, it's in SoCal especially. Yeah, everybody's working hard.
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day. So when I was younger, my dad used to take business trips to California all the time.
Okay.
And he traveled, he was a salesman too. And one time he was in Orange County and he brought back a poster for me, like as my little gift. And it was a poster of Huntington Beach Pier. Oh. So I had that on my wall for so long. And I had no idea that I would eventually move here. I was 8 years old. But I think about that all the time, how it must have been manifesting in me, or it was a desire or meant to be type of thing that I ended up. Well, now I'm in Huntington. It's just crazy. I had no idea. I had never been here. I had never been here until basically I moved here. It was just so random.
Yeah. I feel like that's the funny thing. I see a bunch of photos everywhere and it just says beach boardwalk. And I'm like, wait, I've been there before. I've walked on that exact boardwalk. And I'm like, that's Huntington. And then it says tropical beach and it's just Newport. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It's funny. All of these photos and all of these picture perfect spots are right here in California. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's really
and then you
cool.
being a photographer, you get to go take pictures of those now.
I know.
Which is cool.
I do.
What kind of photography do you do?
I do everything.
Yeah.
I try to do everything.
So people, places, events.
People, places, things, random stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When he first started learning, he was doing action figure photography.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
he'd
go disappear for hours.
Scenes.
I'm like, oh, he's outside. What's he doing? Oh, taking pictures of his action figures, creating stuff. And then now he's he does a lot. He does event stuff. Taught him how to do portraits a few weeks ago, and so just working through it. But
following in Daddy's
he's hanging out with me. I enjoy getting to spend time with him.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun.
It's a gift. I'll take it.
Yeah, I want to convert my children into little realtor
sales
type of people. They don't have to do sales. I mean, they could just do something with me somehow, because I feel like I've had heard on a Mel Robbins podcast that basically once your kids hit a certain age, your time with them is just so, diminished.
Yeah.
And it just goes so quickly, I mean, granted, they're 6 and 4, so I still have some time.
Oh, you got plenty of time. We got a 5-year-old.
But I mean, I work a lot, so I feel like time is our biggest asset, right? And it goes so fast. You can't get more of it.
But as a parent, I mean, I don't know, maybe Jay can you can let me know your perspective, but I know for my wife and I, we figure out what are the things that kind of spark within our kids. And then we're very intentional I do creative stuff and I wasn't sure how it would work out or whatever, but it was I'd bring them along. And then when certain things started to take shape or whatever, I'd let them run with it, but find a way to incorporate it together.
Yeah. I think you were the one that told me about the Target Christmas gift idea.
Oh,
I knew.
Yeah, that was me. I forgot about that.
I'm using that this year.
I totally forgot. Yes,
I used it for my son's birthday, actually.
Okay.
I was like, here we go. Let's just go.
Yeah.
I totally loved it. Now he has to go every day. But
yeah. Our little guy loves it too. These two, I mean, you're older now. What is that?
What is what like?
When we do our Christmas, she was talking about our Target shopping where we all
run to go and find presents.
Oh, not midnight.
It's close to midnight.
We do a few days before.
Yeah.
No,
I love that idea.
It's fun though.
Fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It is fun.
It's a nice little tradition.
Yeah. And we're hiding from each other in the store. That is pretty fun, especially with his 5-year-old
having him looking for them actively, and if he sees them, like Starts screaming.
It's
Aw.
like, you're checking out. What do they have? No, we're not going that way. Let's go back over.
That's amazing. I love that
Yeah.
idea.
Funny.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Like those
Yeah.
little memories are
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So what you said about like seeing like what sparks in
Mhm.
us, right? Do you do that with clients as well? Like you start like talking about things and see what sparks, and you kind of build off of that, or just
A little bit. I mean, I think that is a nice connection point. It's cool to see what makes everybody different. And
Mhm.
that's like, again, why I like doing the podcast too, is just finding out people's passions. Before I did real estate, I was doing casting for a TV show that was about real estate.
Yeah.
But what I loved about it, and I
Yeah.
think what I did well at it, was that we would get like these forms. People would fill them out and tell us why they wanted to be on the show. And then my
Mhm.
job was to basically call them back and like really flesh out their story.
oh,
And it was so interesting to just hear everybody's stories.
mhm.
I really loved that. And then like even moving forward, like a few years later, when I was doing like online dating, like I loved it because, I mean, I hated it too, but I did love how different everybody was, like
Yeah.
really paying attention to that. And like, obviously I know we're all different. We all know this,
Mhm.
but when you really kind of get down to it, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
How we're all so special and different. We're not the same,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
tick differently.
So I feel like the art of the sell then kind of you have to base it off of how each person is do you have to like base it off of how each person is to sell to them?
A little bit. I mean, some people are going to respond differently. And like some people I wouldn't be a good fit to work with. Like
Mhm.
I don't know exactly who that person is until like we're together, but some people like our communication just doesn't work well together. It's just
Yeah.
like human relationships, right? Like
Mhm.
some people maybe I'm too passive for, or even though I'm not always passive, but
Right.
I think,
I hear you.
you know, sometimes I can
Yeah.
be for sure. Some people like, I don't know, maybe I'm too Jersey for them. I don't know. I don't think I come across very Jersey. But there's going to be, like, people are going to feel different
She's
with
from that
different
side of the
people.
river. That side of the river, guys. Yeah, no.
Jersey for them.
That's great.
That's perfect.
I'm just trying to
I grew
think
up.
of
I grew up
things.
outside of Philadelphia area too. So when you said, I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
on
You
that
just
side.
never know. Like,
Yeah, no.
people,
Yeah.
that's why, again, there's a million realtors.
Yeah.
There's a million different people that are also looking to buy houses
Yeah,
or
yeah.
need help, and they're going to connect with everybody differently.
Yeah.
So good. So
Yeah.
good.
No, that's really good.
Yeah.
Well, same for you guys with marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be the right fit for everybody, but for
Definitely
the people
not.
that you're right fit for, those are the people you want to work with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those are your
Yeah.
cheerleaders, your biggest fans.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
No.
definitely figured that out. Like, marketing is such an interesting world to go into, but you need to figure out who you work best with, or else you're never going to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I like how schools, well, my school in general, whenever they put us in a group project, usually they're different.
Mhm.
So it's like, well, you didn't work with this person well. Now you know, like, hey, let's not request them in a group project.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting how humans work with each other and how relational dialects work into that, and how just personal communication, interpersonal communication works through all of that. I mean, you even have a college class on interpersonal communication. And the amount of stuff that I've learned about, here's how you talk to people, here's how you figure out who somebody is, and here's how you kind of just read into how you're going to work with someone. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's,
Yeah.
I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a really big part of selling and just real estate.
I
and
think
just-
it's just part of life, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah. So it's funny because you know how with AI right now,
Mm-hmm.
it's everywhere. It's part of our lives, which is great in so many ways. But the AIs are, a lot of the time, they're trained by the person. That's, you know, so we can never eliminate the people.
Yeah.
And the AIs are always going to respond differently based upon the person
Right.
that it's
Mhm.
being trained by. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a nerd techie person, but I do play around with ChatGPT, and
Yeah.
like it's interesting too, and I'll ask
It
it for
becomes tailored
ideas.
to how you
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it's gonna tell me I'm wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mess around with ChatGPT a lot, and I figured out that whenever I write a prompt like saying like, hey, write something out for me, or hey, help me build on this idea.
Yeah.
if I were to ask just like a blank slate one that I'm not signed into, it's not going to be the same as this, which is what some people think that AI is. It's going to be the same for every single thing, but it's tailored to you because it looks into what you say and it looks into what you write down, and it goes through everything. I mean, that's why it costs a couple $1 billion to just run the servers for it.
Yeah.
Because of the just because of how much processing power it has.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really cool how it's tailored to each specific person, and we could, I think, learn something from how AI kind of works with people to kind of better our personal communication skills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been great at helping to like flesh out some emails where sometimes like I'll write this nice, email that has a whole lot of different points to it, but then it takes out, it either like eliminates the fluff or helps to put it in the right order so that it maybe makes a little bit more sense logically, or, just gets to the point. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how it, helps and evolves in your industry. I know there's a group in my company too that's also kind of seeing the best practices for how we can better use it to help our clients and our businesses and everything. Yeah.
It's huge. We use it all the time. I remember when I first got years ago, right? Or a couple years ago when AI was really picking up, I was like, okay, I'll do the free version for a little while. And then it was like, ran out of memory. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to go ahead and do the real one, and
there's a huge difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference. I have a whole play side on my chat, on my AI stuff where I'm like, the other day I entered in these prompts and took my kid's drawing and had it then convert it into real life characters.
Robots, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's freaking awesome. I was like, make my
funny.
kid's drawing come to life with hair, with like actual texture. Don't cartoonize it. Like, I'll have to show what they look like, but
we'll put a few up on the screen.
Oh yeah, we can put it up on there. But yeah, doing those types of things. I was gonna say this. It's just like for us, in our fields and stuff and what we do, and not just our jobs, but in really who we are, right? We've got to think about who we connect with relationally. Because we're always not going to jive or gel with everybody.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to connect with everybody.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that each of us can all have the same type of, or a deep relationship, because we're all wired differently and we're all in different moments and seasons of life. But I would also say, so not only do you have to be a good read and study people, but wouldn't you agree, like also, because I've had to learn it as an entrepreneur, man, I've got to learn a whole lot more about myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
It helps when you know what you are best able to help people with, then you can kind of figure out who you should be kind of attracting.
Yeah.
Right. So like maybe you're not going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe you're not the best person to help somebody in, I don't know, Norway.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
yeah.
Nope. Yep. I got a lot of obstacles right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But we can narrow it down a little bit more. Like you're in tune with California, Hawaii, anywhere in the US probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, places that like you can't speak the language or know the culture as well.
Yeah.
Not your ideal client.
Yeah.
Same for me. Somebody asked me to buy a house in Barcelona. I would love to write that trip off and help them. But
Yeah.
But I'm not the best suited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's really hard for companies to expand outside of where they started, because they have to figure out the culture, which is why I think we see so many marketing fails. Like, have you seen the viral marketing fails by companies?
Yeah.
Whenever they try to expand out to a different country or they put out a marketing thing in a different country, I'm like, it's funny because
sad.
But it's sad, but it's like you need to do research, and no matter how much research you do, you're never going to have the perfect amount to get the marketing just right, because you need someone that has grown up in that culture, and you need someone that really knows what's going on.
It's a really good point.
So it's this fact of, one, you have to know your client, or you have to know who your audience is.
Yeah.
But then two, you've also got to really invest and know how to then present yourself.
Yeah.
Because how you learn how to present yourself can transcend any environment, any place, any situation.
Yeah.
Once you know who you are and then how to present yourself, but then you also have to then do the study to say, okay, this is how now I make it connect to side B.
Yeah.
So here I am, side A, this is side B, this is now how I actually connect it.
Yeah. Wow. So it's kind of a combination of like marketing and branding, which you do all of that. So you're probably, but you're right. It's also like inner work too, like knowing who you are, who you can best serve, who you can impact the most.
Yeah. So what are some things that you do, Holly, for yourself, what are some things that you do to invest into yourself, like to keep growing, stuff like that?
So I have been on like the last, I don't know, probably year, I would say, really going hard at like self-improvement, I guess.
Yeah.
Like self-development. I'll say not improvement, but development. And just really, I've been reading a ton. Like, I can't even believe the stuff I'm going to say. I've been reading a ton. I haven't watched TV. I've been going to conferences, like, and loving it all. Like, I just feel like this burning desire to just like keep growing and bettering for myself, for my family, for my clients. Like, those are kind of like the three things, I guess, right now that are most important. I mean, obviously, friends and community and all of that are all part of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's been really awesome. I've been loving
cool.
it. I've been doing a lot more just like, I think part of it is like you said, seasons, right? So obviously we all went through COVID. That was a season. And then
that was crazy.
Seasons. Yeah.
During that time I had like 2 toddlers. So I feel like my head was not on right.
Yeah.
And now 6 and 4 is a lot easier than like 2 and 0.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's big time. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like now that they're a little bit more of independent humans, you know, who I love deeply, but I am able to like take some me time back and like, you know, feel a little bit guilty, but not really guilty, because also I want to be the best that I can personally be to like have an impact on them too.
Right.
So that's been really fun and gratifying.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
That's really
that.
cool. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I definitely think that whatever you intake will always help them with what comes out, you know? And so the more that you continue to invest in yourself and to develop yourself and to grow, and I mean, that's living.
Yeah.
Like when you stop growing, you're dying, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't want to be growing physically, you know, but mentally, I got to keep my mind sharp, you know, spiritually, like all those different things, like relationally, I've got to keep those areas sharp, because that's what makes life invigorating. That's what brings life its flavor.
Yeah.
Also what makes you, you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 If we stop growing, then we just lose our sense of self, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like with being so like just involved in, well, especially I would say like 2020 through 2023, let's say, when my kids were really young and we were like trapped at home a lot and just all those fun things.
Yeah.
I just felt like very much in this like vortex of just work and no sleep, and like, you know, just tending to like kids and work, like, sorry, husband, but like all of that was just like a tornado of craziness, you know? And so it is nice to be on the other side of that, I hope. But just having been there, it wasn't like there was a lot of room left to even like have like a glimmer of like, what is it going to look like on the other side? It was just like, I just need to get through the day, and then I can't wait to sleep tonight, and then get through the next. That cycle sucks. Like it's soul sucking. I'm like, what am I even doing this for? You know? So it is very nice to now have taken like a deep breath and said, okay, like I'm doing this because I want this for the future, or like that for the future for my family, that for the future for my kids, like to work with them one day or whatever it is. Just to have like dreams, I guess, as cheesy as it sounds, but sometimes like as a kid, I was really good at dreaming. Like I loved it. Like having all these grand goals and wanting to go to school in Paris and just like all these fun things. I didn't go to school in Paris, but that's okay. But yeah, then it just became like this work cycle and I love my job, but now it's like more fun to have it more creatively based too. Like I love that you get to do marketing and like, of course that's creative. There's obviously a business side to it too. So it's not all creative. But yeah, with real estate too, it's like what I love about it and like what I get back to is the relationships, the being able to help people and like the being able to like find a home base. So yeah.
So good.
That's so good. And I feel like that's such a light to people whenever they want to buy a house. I feel like people need someone that cares about the relationships. They need someone that cares about the people that they get to help. And I feel like that's such a bright thing to show people that we have here.
Well, people to like have hope, you know, like even if they can't buy now, and because I know it's a lot. It's expensive to live here, but just to feel like they belong, I think is so important. Like where I grew up in Jersey, I had a lot of family there, but we didn't always necessarily feel like we belonged, but like we always felt like we were like the less than family, like all of our relatives. I'm not trying to bitch, sorry, but
you're okay.
We just didn't have like as much as some of the other members of our family had. So it was a spiral that I think started with my parents feeling that way and projecting it on us.
Yeah.
And then as like a teenager, I was like, well, I don't want that for my future family. Like I want us to be able to invite family over and not feel like, oh, where do they live? I don't know, just all that stuff. So it is nice to be able to like have a place where we feel at home, we feel safe, we feel happy, we feel together. Yeah. And I just want that for other people so that they don't feel like that growing up or, in their later years either. Yeah.
I'm definitely a huge proponent of the idea of home is where you make it.
That's really true.
And it's not just in where you live. It's not just in the aesthetic or the ambiance of where you're living.
Yeah.
But it's really the attitude, the mindset, and the framework that you bring to your surroundings of where you live.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And like, honestly, it's not a regret. I think like there's been a lot of growth in myself too, just reflecting. But like, if I'm being honest, I think our house growing up was horrible. Like, I think it was really ugly. I will not share a photo with you, but maybe I will. But it was ugly, and we were embarrassed by it. But if we didn't think that way, like if we just learned to appreciate it better at a younger age, then I don't know. I'm grateful for whatever I felt because I'm here today because of it.
It's just part of the journey.
But I want my kids to grow up feeling like they're, happy. So we try to make them happy.
Yeah. And that's a focus and intentionality that you bring into everything.
Yeah.
So I love that. Man, Holly, thank you so much for sharing those things. I wanted to kind of do a rapid fire with you.
Yeah.
So, things Costa Mesa. Okay.
Oh boy.
What is your favorite area of Costa Mesa that you love to show homes in?
East Side.
East Side. Okay. Give us, for those who are listening who aren't familiar, describe the East Side for me.
So East Side is basically anything east of the 55 freeway. And what I love about it is that there are a lot of custom homes. Some are brand new, gorgeous, and some are, what I really like are like the older homes with character. Okay. Especially being from the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What is your go-to coffee shop?
In Costa Mesa, I would say.
Because there's 50 million here.
There's so many.
There
are way too many.
Maybe two.
Milligram Coffee.
Oh, where's that one at?
It's on 17th Street. It's very close to the Hawaiian place.
Okay. Milligram Coffee. I actually have
I've seen it. Yeah.
It's so charming.
Okay. I heard it's good.
Okay. For your Costa Mesa pod, who is a dream guest that you would love to have on your show?
I've had some really great people.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some really great ones I still want to have. Let me come back to that one.
Okay. The last one is, what is one thing, because you connect with business leaders, you connect with entrepreneurs. What is one thing that you would encourage each of those people to do more of?
I would encourage them to support the community more, to give back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then going back to the Costa Mesa pod one,
Yeah.
I would love, like, if everything was an option, I would love to. I don't know her name, but there was a really awesome female realtor who was like the first female realtor in Costa Mesa back in like the 1920s. I would love to get her on the podcast.
She the older curly hair? She have curly hair?
No, she's dead now.
Oh, okay.
She's not alive. She's no longer with us.
Dang. Okay.
No, I don't know her name. She's a famous Costa Mason. Like, so it would be some like, this is if like I could transcend time.
Oh yeah, cool.
I would love to get her take on like the expansion of Costa Mesa back then.
Oh my
cool.
God,
They
that
had
would've been
orange
so
groves
cool.
back then too.
Yeah.
So.
I'd be so cool of the Wild West. Like, yeah,
That's kind of what
I
it
mean,
was.
heck, you even have, and you go take it even further back. It's like there wasn't the airport; it was the drag strip. You know, so
It was a racing strip. Yeah.
so cool, man.
It's just it's so fun to talk to people that have lived here since like the community was built. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess I would say like I know a few people that are original owners from like the 60s, but I mean that's a long time ago now, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a lot less here then, and it's just
I've seen pictures of what it looked like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And like even watching other like movies too. What was that one that we just watched a few days ago? Oh my gosh, it's the one with Keanu Reeves where he's on the bus.
Speed.
Yes. Okay, so
because he hadn't seen it.
watching that,
sure.
watching that movie and then seeing they're like, no, we're still building the freeway. I'm like, I've driven over that freeway like 40 different times, and it's just funny seeing how quickly this area of California grew.
Yeah.
Like just super quickly, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's again why I think so many people come here. It's a very desirable place to live. It is the land of dreams. It has a lot of opportunities, and I mean, there's a lot of homes, not necessarily in Costa Mesa, but in Newport they're just second homes for people. They just come here when they want a vacation.
Yeah,
We live in a great place.
Yeah. Awesome.
it's awesome.
Well, Holly, once again, thank you for coming on. I love that you're doing more than just building a business that involves homes, but you're building connections. And so, in community. And I appreciate that I get to be a part of that. And I love how you've reached out and were like, hey, here's a cool idea or da-da-da-da-da. And you were like, check that out. I was like, okay, sweet. That'd be awesome. And so anytime our paths cross, I'm appreciative and grateful for it. So thanks for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and great job building this podcast too.
Thank you.
I love the purpose behind it. You guys are great.
So good. All right. So for all of our viewers and listeners, where can they find you?
So I'm on Instagram primarily, Realtor Holly McDonald.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
And then your wwebsite, do you have a website?
RealtorHollyMcDonald.com.
Okay. Perfect. Easy.
Perfect. It's awesome. All right. Thank you, Holly, for coming on the episode today. This is a really good one. I know I say that for all of them, but they're all
We
amazing.
meet it every single time, though. I
Every
love
single
it.
time.
Yeah.
They're always really good. So thank you for watching the Purpose Department, and have a blessed day.